CNN just recently carried out a very interesting interview with former CIA Chief Leon Panetta. In his interview, he basically stated that Donald Trump, what he's doing is to the benefit of ISIS, and that what he's doing, the whole immigration ban thing, just plays right into their hands and will drive people into their recruiting centers. Now, they try to make the argument that this is not a Muslim ban. It's banning immigration from certain countries. They just happen to be Muslim majority countries, and yes, that actually does make it a Muslim ban, and especially when there are exceptions given for Christians. Now, he also made the point that if you really wanted to make Americans safer, they would beef up the vetting process, deciding who can be a citizen and who can't. If there were more resources to put that, you could figure out who the terrorists are or who are more likely to be terrorists. But that's not what this is about. That's not what Donald Trump is doing. He's just banning Muslims for the sake of thinking that's just going to make everybody safer, which is, there's a very large constitutional question here, and it violates human rights on several grounds. Now, when you ban all Muslims, you're kind of defeating the idea that this isn't a war on Muslims, but a war on extremists. That's what the U.S. would have us believe, that it's not a war on Muslims, it's a war on Islamic extremists. But then when you turn around and you ban Muslims, you're kind of taking it out on all of them and undermining your own statement. So it does have the really adverse negative effect, because that's what ISIS and other terrorist groups like them are saying, that this is a war against all Muslims and all Muslims should be involved. And then when Donald Trump goes around and does something like this, then you would certainly get the idea that they're probably right. That's the way it'll look when those kinds of things are done. And of course, we know in the end that if a really rich Muslim wanted to come to the United States for whatever reason, you know he's going to make it through somehow. Like a real businessman who comes up to Trump and says, you know, he wants to do business, whatever, you know, he'll still make it. It's the regular, everyday Muslim people that won't make it in the country. The capitalist class, the wealthy people, will still make it in just fine. I don't have any example of this happening, but it's my belief that that's probably the way it is. But I also found it really funny listening to Leon Panetta talk about human rights and how Trump is violating them and how human rights should be respected. Well, he was the head of the CIA. And if anybody is about human rights, it's the CIA, of course, because they have such a long history of defending people's rights, right? Like all the people that he's responsible for the deaths for of Iraq and Afghanistan and other countries where intelligence was faked to justify the bombings like Libya, Yemen, etc. So while he's right on a lot of the things that he actually says about Donald Trump, we should acknowledge what a gigantic hypocrite he actually is, and that this new administration isn't very much different from the previous administration. Trump may be just merely banning Muslims, but it was Obama that went around bombing them. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.